In this episode, we're going to find out what the best mattress is that you can be sleeping on, why you may not be losing weight, and what's the healthiest form of alcohol that you can put into your body. So bottoms up. Hey everyone, welcome to the first Ask Dr. Daniel DC show. I believe this is the first time that we've tried to do something like this, so here we go. All right, question number one. Abby from FHC asks, what's the best sleeping position or mattress that I should be sleeping on? Sleeping is the best way for our bodies to recover. And so your sleeping surface, we know for sure, can affect how you sleep or sleep quality. When we talk about sleeping positions, you're either going to be sleeping on your stomach, you're going to be sleeping on your side, or sleeping on your back. Now here's the gist. Sleeping on your back is going to be horrible if you're overweight, if you've got tight airways, or if you're a heavy snorer. So if you do any of those three things, or you have any of those three things, you definitely need to stay off of sleeping on your back. Now, the best thing that I can recommend for people is to sleep on their side. And I'm going to tell you that sleeping on the right side is actually going to be the healthiest position with the pillow between your knee. If you're pregnant, however, sleeping on your left side is actually going to be better because sleeping on the left side has been shown to help improve circulation. But that said, sleeping on the left side is also known to cause stress to some of your organs. So maybe things like your stomach, your liver, and your gallbladder. So depending on the current status of your health, you're going to have to make that decision as far as what you want to do. Of course, we all know this, sleeping on your stomach is actually the worst. And aside from scrunching your face and causing all kinds of wrinkles, sleeping on your stomach will flatten out the curves that you're supposed to have in your low back, which can then contribute to low back pain, headaches, and muscle and joint fatigue throughout the day. Now, when we talk about mattresses, again, the question is still out as to which surface is actually the best for our bodies. And the reality is that because we're all so different genetically, we're all different heights, we're all different weights, we're all different densities, our bodies are actually going to be compressed and sink in to a mattress completely differently. In other words, a 250-pound individual might say that a certain mattress is firm, whereas a 120-pound individual on that same mattress is going to say that that mattress is soft. So it really just depends on the individual and, number one, whether or not you're getting good sleep quality. Now, part of the problem is when we go shopping for a mattress, we don't do our due diligence to figure out what is a good mattress to sleep on. In other words, we may lay there for about 10, 15 minutes and say, oh, this is comfortable, I think I'm gonna take it. The longest, biggest research study ever done on mattresses determined that there is really no difference between what somebody says is a good mattress versus a bad mattress. It really, again, just comes down to the individual. And what they found was that, yes, sleeping surfaces can affect our sleep quality, but the most important thing is that in the middle of the night, whenever you're in your REM sleep, your muscles are actually relaxed and in a different state than when you're awake. So when you go shopping for that mattress and you're laying down on that bed and you find that it's comfortable, your body is actually going to react or respond differently when you fall into REM sleep. So really, I would say that one of the most important things to do is to make sure that you have an excellent warranty, because if you find after a month or a few weeks of sleeping on this mattress that that you're not digging it and you're just not feeling right on it, then you can ship it back and get something else. Trial and error, my friend. Trial and error is how you're going to figure it out. Look, I think the most important thing to focus on is just deep sleep to begin with. Most Americans have horrible sleep patterns. And so before I really go in and mess with sleep positions and sleeping surfaces, I want to make sure that you're just getting good sleep. All right, on to question number two. This question comes from Ashley from Arizona State. Look, Ashley from Arizona State, I know you're concerned about weight loss, so I'm gonna give it to you real. Most people that I personally work with in my office and that I have seen lose weight, there's one of 5 reasons why they couldn't lose weight to start off with. And number one, and I know all of y'all are gonna roll your eyes here, but number one is food. You gotta stop eating the fake food. So you need to eat real food. What is real food? Green leafy vegetables, fruits and vegetables, cruciferous greens, so your deep leafy greens, your lettuces, those are the foods that you need to be eating. So Ashley, you need to get a big old plate, you need to put your vegetables on there, you need to put some fruits on there, and you need to munch that stuff down. Make sure it's organic. I'm telling you that right now, make sure it's organic, because genetically modified foods that come laced with herbicides and pesticides and fungicides, all this stuff is just going to accumulate in your fat cells, because our fat cells are storage molecules, and your body is smart. And if you've got a bunch of toxins floating around in your body's going to take those toxins, put them in those fat stores, and it's going to keep it there forever. So you need to eat real food and stop eating the garbage. That's the #1 reason why people cannot lose weight, and they're just not honest with themselves as far as what they should be eating. Reason number 2, your exercise is probably just not right. Now, I know some of you exercise enthusiasts out there are saying, no way, I work out like crazy. I run 10 miles a week. How could I not be losing weight? Well, here's the deal. Your body is highly adaptive, and it's going to get used to the type of stresses that you're exposing it to. So if you're a big runner, then you need to start lifting weights. You need to drop the running shoes, you need to pick up those weight shoes, and you start lifting some weights, working that butt, working those chests. That's what you got to do. If you're a big weightlifter, then you need to turn around and start running, and you need to start shifting the game here. So another thing that I see is that people spend too much time either doing endurance work or too much time doing their weight training, and they're not doing enough interval training. And in fact, a lot of the current physiology studies being published today are now showing that high intensity interval training, things like sprint drills for short periods of time, have actually been shown to burn more fat than 45 minutes of lifting weights or 45 minutes of doing cardio work. So if you feel that you're not losing weight even though you're exercising, you might want to shift the type of exercising that you're doing. Also, to be honest, exercise is great, right? I exercise every single day for about 45 minutes, and I think it's great for building my muscles. I think it's great for working on my endurance and my flexibility. But the reality is, Ashley, you were not designed to be working out for 45 minutes weekly. You were designed to be moving like a hunter-gatherer, a hunter-gatheress, if you will. So you were designed to be moving around, hunting animals, chasing deer, climbing rocks, picking berries every single day, all day long. We were not designed to be sitting. We were not designed to be driving in cars. We were not designed to be looking at our phones or sitting in front of a computer. And so quite frankly, we're just not moving enough. And I really feel that if people just increase their movement meter, if we just paid attention to that and we started moving around more, in other words, getting up more frequently and walking around, maybe doing a couple of, running in place, jumping jacks, maybe doing some push-ups here and there. So if we just split our day up, every now and then started incorporating some movements, you would see that you're going to increase your net caloric burning. So you're going to burn more calories throughout the day, and your body's going to be wonderful for it. So think about that. Instead of spending 45 minutes with Mike the muscle guy, instead, you should go out and just start walking around. I'm telling you that right now, more movement in smaller doses is better than one large dose of movement. All right, reason number 3 as to why you're not losing weight. Probably your thyroid is screaming mercy, mercy, mercy. Most people have not had a proper thyroid evaluation. And no, your TSH is not enough to know whether or not your thyroid is good or bad. You have to have a comprehensive thyroid panel in order to figure this out. And I'm sorry to say, most general physicians or most GPs have no idea what they're doing when they're evaluating the thyroid. Now, your thyroid plays a huge role in metabolism. And these are your T3, your T4, and your TSH hormones. You also have to know whether or not you're having an autoimmune reaction, so you need to get something called TPO checked. Now, your thyroid can go wrong for many reasons, and I'm going to say that diet is really at the top when it comes to the reasons why it starts to go bad. But you could also have too much iodine or not enough iodine in your diet, which is very, very important in the conversion of these hormones. Another big thing is the amount of plastics that our bodies are now exposed to. And then, of course, I just talked about this, genetically modified organisms and environmental toxins that are wreaking havoc in our bodies. These things are accumulating in your bodies, and over time, it's shutting down your thyroid hormone production, which of course is resulting in you accumulating weight. Last but not least, those amalgam fillings that you have in your mouth that you've had maybe since you were a kiddo, they're making you fat. All right, number 4, and speaking of hormones, your hormones could be off. And this is very important because our hormones really, I would say, play a major role in you losing weight more than exercise and diet. Now, most people, and I'm going to say most men, have not had a proper hormone evaluation. Most women I know the hormones are going all over the place. I know this for a fact because I check it in my office and I see that it's rampant. So many people have their hormones that are out of balance, and in order to balance those out, it takes a very comprehensive approach. You can't just throw on a lotion, some kind of natural hormone remedy that you think is going to fix it. Or you can't take birth control, that's going to make matters worse. So you have to keep in mind that your hormones, things like leptin, things like insulin, these are two powerful hormones when it comes to being able to lose weight. Most people are actually insulin resistant because of their crappy diet and all the other toxins and environmental pollutants that are in our bodies. Then it starts to wreak havoc on your leptin hormone. And your leptin hormone is what signals to your body to burn fat. So if you don't have these two hormones in check, and usually, again, this comes down to estrogen, this comes down to progesterone, testosterone. You've got all these hormones that need to work harmoniously together, and they're not. And that could be contributing to your weight gain. Cortisol. Cortisol is a stress hormone. Today, cortisol is higher than ever. I know this because we're so stressed out. And your stress, and I know you're gonna say, no, I do a pretty good job of handling my stress. I can guarantee you that you might be chill Nancy on the outside, but on the inside, you're screaming. You're screaming so much that it's starting to filter out and bustle out, and it's creating a bulge around your body. You're losing your abs. You're starting to get fat around underneath your arms. That's what's causing your hormone problem. Last but not least, the fifth reason why is because of toxicity. And I know I've talked a lot about toxicity, from genetically modified organisms, personal cosmetic products, you have industrial solvents and cleaning materials that we use inside our houses. You also have aerosols and gases that are floating around our cities. All this stuff, since you were a little itty bitty baby, has accumulated throughout your life, and now it's starting to create a problem because your filters are not working, your hormones are all jacked up, your fat cells are literally storing all this excess toxins, and you're not able to burn it because you don't know how to clean up your body. And that is why I highly recommend you go on a detox program, a clinical detox program from someone who knows what they're doing. Not just some fad pills where you're gonna pop it for 7 days and you think you're gonna lose weight because of that. No, true detoxification takes at least 28 days and can last for 2 to 3 years, depending on how toxic you are. So this question comes from Frank. Frank wants to know, what's the healthiest form of alcohol that I can put into my body? All right, Frank, you want to know which alcohol is the healthiest alcohol that you can put into your body. There is no such thing. There is no such thing as healthy alcohol, because alcohol is a poison, and any poison, my friend, is going to kill you. Now, that said, I love me a good beer. I love drinking some wine with my wife. I'm a big fan of vodka. I love my vodka. So let's talk about what's the best alcohol that we could be putting in our body. But Frank, I'm gonna give it to you straight. Straight liquor is actually the healthiest form of alcohol that you can put into your body. And when I say straight liquor, I'm talking about just your liquor in a glass of water, and you're just gonna be sipping it. You can put some ice in there and you can sip that as well. Usually your clear liquors are gonna be healthier than your darker liquors. So your vodkas and gins are gonna be healthier for you than, say, whiskey or scotch. And that's really only because of the sugar content that's loaded in some of these liquors. But again, above everything else, straight liquor, just drinking it out of the bottle or pouring some into a glass and just sipping on it, maybe putting in a little bit of ice or some water, that's the best way that you can be taking in your alcohol. Second to that, wine. Now, I know we're gonna get fancy here because wine makes me feel fancy, and wine also makes you feel a little debaucherous. Wine is not as good as liquor, and the reason why I say that is because it has more calories, more sugars, which means it can put more bulge around your body and can affect your insulin, which of course affects your health. So, red wines are gonna be the best form of wine, and then you're gonna have your white wines that are gonna be more sugary, more sweeter. All right, next on the list is gonna be wine. I know, we're getting a little fancy here. Wine's a little debaucherous. Red wines have a compound called resveratrol, which is a very powerful antioxidant, but know what? Don't run to the wine cellar just yet, because just because it has antioxidants doesn't mean you need to be downing it every day. In fact, doing so is gonna help to accumulate more fat, Ashley, which we just answered your question. Stop drinking the wine. Wine, there's no way you can be healthy. There's no way you can lose weight if you're drinking your wine. That said, wine is gonna be healthier than beer. All right, so beers are delicious. And depending on the individual, I know you're gonna be a little upset with this, your light beers are gonna be the way to go. One, they're gonna have less yeast. Two, they're gonna put less poundage on your stomach, so you're not gonna get as much of a beer belly. If you've gotta go dark, then I'm gonna tell you to go with your stouts rather than your lagers. While all beers have B vitamins, your stouts are gonna have more antioxidants than the lagers themselves. So if we're trying to pick between what beer is good, I would say go for a stout or go for any light beer. But beer is still on the bottom of the totem pole when it comes to alcohol. It's the reason why we start to see the freshman 40 show up, where you hit college, your freshman year, you're loving it, and then you get this huge bulge around your belly because you couldn't hack all that beer. It just laid up shop and you just got fat all the way around. Beers make you fat. Beers turn on your fat genes. Stay away from your beer if you want a six-pack. One final note, Frank, moderation is key. We know that. The best advice I can give you when it comes to alcohol is just moderation. Another thing is that when you're out drinking, make sure you're drinking some glasses of water in between your drinks. One, it's gonna help you to know how drunk you are. Two, it's gonna make sure that you stay hydrated so that way the next day you're not gonna have a blaring headache. Another hack that you can do, keep in mind that alcohol is a poison, right? So your liver has to metabolize that alcohol, and in doing so, it's gonna use up a lot of B vitamins. So one thing that you can do is that if you know you're gonna be drinking heavily, you can load up on some B vitamins, so that way that's gonna offset some of that toxicity that the alcohol can give you. Again, moderation is key. Have fun, bottoms up. That does it for the first episode of the #AskDrDanielDC show. I hope you guys enjoyed the information. Please keep submitting your questions. We've got a ton of questions. There's a lot of information I'm having to siphon through right now. I'm gonna put out these videos as fast as I can, so that way we can get you all the information. Please subscribe. Go and click subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube. You can find me on Facebook at /DrDanielDC. You can Instagram me or follow me on Instagram at DrDanielDC. You can also ask your questions on Twitter using #AskDrDanielDC. You can also Snapchat me. I recently discovered Snapchat and now I'm snapping, so I hope to see you all there.